Hello and welcome. For this video, I'll illustrate on how to make this drop leaf patio table.
All right, so before we get into the build portion, let's cover the design first. And all I did is type in Octagon Calculator, and I am using the Omni calculator right there. Now, on this web page that you'll come to if you use this, you only have to concern yourself with two other measurements right here, and that is M and A. M will be the total length of your table as it goes from flat end to flat end, and A will cover the 8 pieces that need to be cut at 22 and a half. Now, you can select different measurements here from millimeters, centimeters, feet, and inches. But as far as my table was concerned, I know I wanted a max of 1030 millimeters, a little over 1 meter, and that gave me a measurement of 42.6. That's pretty hard to hit with a table saw consistently. So what I did is just messed around a bit until I got the perfect round number of 425.
I started this project by cutting everything down into bite-sized chunks and then ensuring that the width was the same on all the boards. And then hit it with a pocket hoe and did some sanding up progressively up to 150. When making the base unit, I use a spacer to help keep the spanning boards uniform. The length of the spanning board allows 6 inches of space on both sides of the bottom of the tabletop. The rest of the boards are there to help keep support for the structure. As for the moving legs, I made them so that they only came out 2/3 of the table width and 10 mil or 3/8 of an inch shorter than the base unit legs. And as far as assembly, I used 2 different spacers at the top and bottom to help keep them uniform. Now onto the tabletop. The 8 pieces are cut at 22.5-degree angle. Never try to hit your mark on the first cut, always edge into it. When cutting the half lap, I reversed the cut only enough to reduce tear out and then proceeded normally. Afterwards, cut 2 of the pieces to account for the edge, then glue and screw the components using clamps and make sure to check the half lap depth before running the spanning board through the router. Okay, so we're going to do the edge pieces first, and as this is a 45-degree angle here, all we're going to do is cut a 45, mark a line, and then edge to it on the table saw until it gets a perfect fit. And once you have that perfect fit, make those half laps.
And the other calculator that I use is an equal distance spacing calculator. I use this one right here from Furnitureology. And all you have to do is enter in the area that you're be playing around with, which for me was 347 millimeters. Enter the divider thickness. Okay, and that was 68. And enter in the number of dividers, which is 4. So that gives us 15 millimeters. So that is what we want to cut our spacer to for all the slats.
Okay, so now that we have our edge piece in, all we need to do is put in that spacer that we made and put in a scrap piece and make sure that it has enough length in it. And what we'll do is cut a 45 and then I'll edge up to the 90 until it makes a good fit. So on this slat right here with the spacer in place, see that it's going to take a little bit of a 45 and 90 to 90. So that will be 3 different actions. What I'll do is do the 90 to 90 first and then edge in on the 45 to make it fit. After all the half laps are done, I then installed a roundover bit and aligned the fence with a bearing so that all the top edges of the slats had a soft touch. Make sure to pre-drill, and I rounded over all the edges of the tabletop except where there would be hinge placement. Then I filled in all my plugs and sanded for finishing. Okay, to help me with the setup of the legs right here, I have a few pieces of ply laid out. That way the legs right here are level with each other. Okay, so since I forgot to account on how much the table leg is going to stick out that way, I am going to have to use some spacers so that way the leaf will lie flat when it's not in use. Okay, so I have the hinge to the leaf here, and just using these spacers to get around the leg. Put them in right there and there, and squeeze it on up, and use a self-centering drill bit. Okay, so time for some finishing remarks. The hinges I used are brass, and this gives them a little bit more longevity on the outside. And the two products I used to finish are Osmo Garden Furniture Oil and Osmo UV Protection Oil. I will have these items listed below in the description. And as far as the cringe-worthy moment of this build was not getting a wide enough top. If I would have been able to recess the legs right underneath. As well, I would have been able to put this board right here with a couple of dados to hold in the movable legs, so that way the leaf would have been level. Instead, I ended up using these shock absorption pads to fill in the gap. So I hope you like this build, and please like it, share it, and subscribe it, and I will see you as soon as possible. Thank you.